Hello everybody, this is Godzilla. Today I have a review requested by Steven Mendez. He requested I review the 6-inch tall Godzilla figure from NECA. I don't know, he said NECA Godzilla. That could mean a few things, but I'm assuming he meant this because I showed it in the video. Anyway, so this is overall a really good figure. I'm not sure how it compares to the SH Monster Arts one, but I'm gonna be honest, this cost me $20. And the SH Monster Arts could cost potentially 4 or 5 times more. So, and they're kind of similar, I'm thinking. So, if I were you, I would just skip that and get this. Unless you're a collector and have to have all of them. Hardcore collector, that is. Excuse me. So, I guess I'll jump into detail. He has beautiful detail all along the side of his body. As you can see, all the different size scales here. We've seen those in most other figures, but it's done very well here too. His legs have these nice, like a nice array kind of pattern coming through the legs, going this way. It looks kind of cool and probably movie accurate. Let's see. His tail, the way they put all these layers and folds here looks nice. Also, his tail is pretty long. That's probably why he's also called a 12-inch from head to tail figure. But, you know what, this is a 6-inch figure. I'm kind of saying what Ultraman Chronos said here. Just call it a 6-inch figure. That's what it is. It's just gonna get confused if people start calling this a 12-inch figure. Anyway, in the spines there is some subtle details. There's some smooth little like ridges in here. Oh, and the spines are made of a rubbery material. They can move quite easily. He also has these like lines coming up the side of his head, and then his gills. I'm sorry, my throat is really clogged up right now, but I've always liked how these lines come up the side of his head with all the little lines going in between, if you know what I'm talking about. And how those look with the gills, or whatever those things are. And his neck fold things here. So that looks great. And of course he has these like bulges on his torso, like abs or something. As you can see, it's also up there on that poster. Let's see. There isn't much more to talk about. The head sculpt is really nice. I think it captures the look of the movie quite well. He agrees. I think that's about it for detail. He has the same stubby feet that I could care less about. I actually kind of like that. Let's see. I suppose I should go and move on to paint job. He is a relatively uniform color. It looks better in person than it does on camera, trust me. On camera, you can't really tell apart some of the colors, but I'll go through it. Overall, he's like this mellow kind of charcoal gray throughout his entire body, like on lots of Godzilla incarnations. But on his chest and underbelly, there's a very murky kind of brown. You can sort of see it, but it's more pronounced in real life. I kind of like that pose where he's looking down. Anyway, the claws on his hands are pure black, and the claws on his toes, hold on, let me get a closer look at this. They're actually kind of a greenish brown. You'll just have to get it for yourself to know what I'm talking about. His eyes, again, my camera really can't focus. That's about it, probably as good as it gets right there. His eyes are standard yellow with a little black shaped thing in there as a pupil. Let's see, let's take a look at the inside of his mouth. His teeth are obviously white. The inside of his mouth, let's see, yeah, the entire inside of his mouth is painted kind of a reddish pink, I would say. Very dark reddish pink. And so yeah, the inside of his mouth looks really good. So that will about do it for paint job. Let's get on to articulation. His jaw's articulated, but as you may have heard many people say, you kind of have to tamper with the tongue a bit in order to move it out of the way for the mouth to move. Honestly, it's worth it. I like having the jaw move. It looks really good. So the jaw moves, the head moves. Here, let me hold him by his neck here. His head moves all around like this, and if you force it, you can probably get it to move 360, but I'm not going to. His neck moves up and down a little bit right here, and it moves side to side. Both those combined allow for an impressive range of left to right movement in the head. And moving down the neck to the torso, he has a point right here where he can swivel around. Can't really move up and down at all, but he can move around. And all that combined makes for an even better range of motion in the head. And also makes it more realistic. So instead of just moving his head, he's moving his kind of entire body. The tail moves 360 up at the base, one down. Well, no, it doesn't move 360 here because his spines are in the way, but it easily would if they weren't. Moves 360 one more, and moves 360 one more. And all those points also you can make him go, like, hold on. You can make him wag his tail back and forth, which looks sort of cool. There's a bendy wire in the part of his tail, like right here, from the last point of articulation to the tip of the tail, or not to the tip, but I'd say right to here. There is a bendy wire. I don't like mine completely flat, but I don't like mine curved up either, so I keep it somewhere in the middle so it fits on my shelf well. Let's see. I wouldn't recommend moving it that much because it eventually will snap and it will give you a hard time. Oh, and also putting on the tail was really hard. I know some people had an easy time with it, but it was really hard for mine. Sometimes it might depend on like what the temperature is, might soften up the material, but I don't think it would do that much. I don't know, I think it just varies. Mine was hard to put on. Let's see. Oh yes, articulation. I was doing articulation. Let's see. His arms here can, let's move up the camera. His arms can like tilt, if you kind of like this. They can move in, out, and 360 around, and that makes for a very impressive range of articulation in the shoulder. And this is on both arms, obviously. His elbow rotates and bends on this joint right here. So it can bend to about 90 degrees on his arms, and it rotates 360, but it's tough. His hands, they can move all around, but their motion is a bit limited. They can wiggle in and out like this, side to side, rotate 360, and overall a good range of circular motion. Let's see. I'll go ahead and move his arms up for legs. His legs move 360 on the thigh, and they move in and out just a little bit. You can see that when you rotate them this way, there's this weird dip here. That looks really strange. I mean, not that you'd ever want him to stand like this, but it just looks weird. Also, like, if you just do it a little bit, his thighs stick out here, and it looks weird. But, you know, remember, the Godzilla 2014 wasn't really even that mobile. He was huge and heavy and just had a hard time. He didn't have a hard time, but he wasn't exactly agile or flexible. Oh, and also, the legs movement, I'm pretty sure they needed room to make room down here to give his legs room to move. If that's what that weird crotch bulge is, then that's okay. But it just looks kind of weird. I mean, really? It just looks weird. But I'm not going to draw any more attention to that. Onto his knees. They almost rotate 360. I think if you really wanted to, you can make him rotate 360, but it might like damage some of the stuff on the thigh here, some of the sculpting on the thigh. So I wouldn't recommend it. His knees also can wiggle in place a bit. And last and probably least, his feet. Oh, wait, never mind. His feet can move up, down a little bit, They can wiggle side to side and rotate 360. Anyway, all total, the articulation in the legs, and especially the movability in the feet, means he can stand on multiple terrains, I guess you could say. That's like, if he was like standing on a slope, you could probably like tilt his feet so he could stand fine. Oh, I'm gonna put his arms back down, he looks silly. So that is articulation. Overall, very impressive. Probably less than movie Monster Arts. Oh my gosh. Then SH Monster Arts. I'm so sorry, guys. I just woke up. SH Monster Arts. Probably not as much articulation as SH Monster Arts. But still worth it. You don't really need that much for such a huge, non-agile creature. So next, I'm going to get on to movie accuracy. I'm not going to use this design up here on the poster, because I think we've all figured out that that is not really that movie accurate at all. It looks really cool. I would have been fine if they used that, but it just doesn't look movie accurate. So I'm going purely based off memory here. This is very movie accurate. It looks just like it did in the movie. Not much more to say about it. It's really movie accurate. On to sizing. I'm gonna compare him to some of his Bandai Creation counterparts. I'll put him back here. And let me fix his legs so he's standing nice and tall. There we go. First, I have the figure from the Destruction City right here. He is just about half the size of the NECA figure. Maybe a little more than half. But nowhere near as good as the NECA figure. I don't really think there's any comparison there. But yeah, I guess I just had an idea. I guess if you wanted, this could be a nice Godzilla and Godzilla Jr. pair. But they look a little too similar for that. On to the next. Only other Bandai Creation Godzilla 2014 figure I have, the Atomic Roar figure. So I'm gonna, let's see, what can I do here? There we go. So this is almost the same. Hold on, my leg is caught in the tripod. This comparison is almost the same as the last one I showed, with the NECA figure and the Destruction City figure. But this time the roles have switched. The Bandai Creation one is almost twice as tall as the NECA one. I suppose if we really wanted, this could also be a father-son pair. But still, they look too similar, so it wouldn't work. So yeah, that's to give you a good feeling of how big this thing is. Once the 12-inch NECA figure comes out, or I guess 24-inch from head to tail, it'll be about this tall. Maybe. About this tall. And it will roar, I think, just like this one. But it probably won't like vomit or anything. Alright. Finally, for size comparisons, I'm going to bring out the Bandai Final Wars Godzilla. Here, let me bring them closer to the camera. The Final Wars Godzilla is just a little taller. That is not exactly accurate and to scale, but they're from different companies, so I wouldn't expect it to be. If these were to scale, the NECA Godzilla would probably be about this tall. The NECA Godzilla is 108 meters tall, and Final Wars Godzilla is 100 meters tall. But they do go well together. They could be like on a team, because they're looking in the same general direction, or they're looking each other in the eye when they face off. So that's good. So, last but least, I have the Trendmaster Zilla figure. Now, this guy, I'm not going to review him right now, or at least I'm going to try not to, but he has a lot of articulation too. And he's actually a really good figure. So I felt it would be cool to compare him to the other American Godzilla. Again, this is nowhere close to being to scale, but they do size well together if you wanted them to fight. And if you wanted, you can like Zilla stand tall or something. Anyway, so let's see. There we go. So yeah, here's I don't know, 3 versions of Godzilla. Oh, I can move the tripod back now. 3 versions of Godzilla, Japanese and 2 Americans. They all size well together, but I'm just here to talk about the NECA figure. Final thoughts. This figure is fantastic. Everything about him is pretty much flawless. He stands tall and proud, just like in the movie. I also think he looks really cool when his jaw is closed. When it's open, it looks cool too, but I just kind of like it with his jaw closed. Fantastic detail, and fantastic deal too. He's $20, depending on where you find him. Fantastic, well, great for what it's worth paint job. I mean, he wasn't really too colorful in the movie, and I think they did a good job recreating that image. So yeah, fantastic paint job. Fantastic range of articulation. Fantastic movie accuracy. It's a fantastic figure. I'm giving the NECA Godzilla 2014 figure the same score that I gave the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 2000 right here. A 5 out of 5. It's absolutely fantastic. So I highly recommend you buy it, especially for the price of $20. That is a steal. Before I go on too much here about how amazing this figure is, I'm going to wrap it up. Don't forget to like, comment, and please, please, please subscribe for more Godzilla videos. And I don't know how I'm going to end this video. See you on my next video. Bye.